Hey guys, it's Trippy. Welcome to the video. This one is going to be a kind of run-in commentary video about the OneWheel, just because I had an interesting weekend the other day. It was basically myself and Connor planned to go out with the OneWheels and cameras in tow and just basically test out my action-free. Hopefully get some good footage. It was a bit of a grey, dreary day, so I wasn't expecting much, but the OneWheel itself had other plans, unfortunately. It was very scary because I thought, I've paid all this money for this little gizmo. I've had it for just over a year and it's dead. Basically, the front foot pad sensor just wouldn't activate on one side, so when I was testing it on the app, I tried to show it on screen in a minute, but I don't think you can really see it anyway, but you'll sort of press down on it and it would register, but then the other side it wouldn't. And it wouldn't be so much of an issue if it happened while you're riding it, because I'm pretty sure as a safety feature, if you off the sensor when it's moving, it will keep going kind of thing until you go to like below 1 mile an hour or something. But yeah, I was just basically doing the seesaw thing, which was quite embarrassing because I was just talking to an elderly couple who were asking about the board, who've like never seen it before. They're quite rare in Cornwall. I think I've maybe seen like one or two my whole time. Yeah, I had the sort of like the seesaw fall of shame where you go to take off and just nothing happens, and I was like, oh, okay. And then when I realised after a couple more times, like, oh, okay, this is actually serious, like the board's dead. Connor basically picked up with his GT and first aided it back to his van. Thankfully, he had his XR on him, so we could still sort of go out and about on the OneWheels, but it was quite the shameful walk following him as he was like riding along holding my dead board, and I just sort of with my helmet and all on like follow him down the road slowly but surely. Like very depressing, but looking back it was quite funny. Yeah, the OneWheel community and especially Connor really saved the day. Again, we figured out relatively quickly that it was a sensor, but a couple of guys on Reddit offered me a few different like options of advice. And Connor managed to find a guy in Southampton, which isn't too far from Cornwall, who was selling like a brand new sensor set. So my grip tape on the front pad was also really worn down. I think Connor said it was like riding on paper. So basically we replaced one, but it's like two birds in one stone. I think if I bought it from America, it would have been like $150 and shipping from like official OneWheel website or Future Motion. This guy was selling it for $140, and yeah, I think it got to Connor. He ordered it on Sunday and the board was fixed and back to me by Tuesday or Wednesday. Connor did take it home on the Sunday to try and sort of see what he could do with it and swap out the sensor with his XR, and it did work, so it was definitely my sensor that was the problem. But yeah, the one good thing that did come out of it is that I got to ride his GT for the day because he was happy on the XR. And the GT is quite a beast. It was a lot to get used to. But one of the main reasons I want to do this video is just to say to people, if you are riding an XR or an older board, don't be too panicky or disheartened if something does get wrong with it, because chances are, if you can't fix it, someone online or like Reddit, Facebook, Instagram might be able to help you and get you back floating again, because there's nothing worse feeling of having this amazing board and it go wrong. It's a little bit of the reason why I'm a bit hesitant to buy the GT, which I'll start talking about now, but yeah, long story short, the XR is fixed and I am rocking it again, very slowly as I always do, but rocking it nonetheless. But the GT is, you'll see in a minute, I go up a hill and the angle of the board, it's like we're talking an inch or two from the floor, and it just amazes me that a human has designed this. It's like I can barely sort of get out of bed in the morning, and yet there's someone out there who's designed this technology and it just works. It boggles my mind. Just letting this car pass quickly and then off we go again. Normally that I probably would have hopped off, but because I'm a bit unsure on this board, you've probably seen me wobbling a few times like, oh god. But the power it holds, going up hills, across grass when it's like a bit damp, it's just insane. And the tyre as well is a big difference. I'd be keen to, if anyone actually watches this video who has a OneWheel and or the OneWheel XR and they've upgraded to the GT, what they think of it. Because I'm 87 kilos now, I'm quite chubby, I'm like bigger than I've ever been. And, as you can probably tell when I went over that bump, it was a bit rickety. But with the XR, because it's like a more square tyre, I feel like I can put my full weight to the left or the right, and I know the board isn't going to tip on me unless I'm like purposely trying to. But with the GT, if I lean a little bit too much, I feel like it is going to wobble over, similar to the Pint X. Whether that would actually happen or not, probably not. But again, I guess it depends on like rider skill and weight and stuff. But eventually I do start getting used to it a little bit, but it is like little moments where like I'm going past a speed bump and there's a bit of a wobble, just sort of adjusting to the board, I suppose. But Yeah, the company I got, well, pretty much that I know of, the only company in the UK that sells them are called Riding Glide. I could be completely wrong on that, but I am going to be tempted, especially now that I've got a nice new foot pad and sensor on, and I know it's not going to like die if I try and sell it. Is to trade it in with Riding Glide, and they'll probably give me like a credit note, and then I can use that to buy a GT. Whether I'm going to do that or not, I'm not sure yet. There's Connor doing a little flippy trick. I'm never going to be able to do that in my life. I think he does land it in a minute. He is getting quite good at those. But yeah, just not really sure what to do. I love my XR, but the GT, the range as well. Like I said, I'm quite a heavy guy, heavier than Connor, even though he's taller. I was on it for probably about an hour and a half, and again, it was grass, off-road, up massive hills. Obviously, when you're going downhill, you get a bit of your charge back, but I think it left on about 60%, and my foot was absolutely knackered. I think you'll see now my front foot is at a bit of an awkward angle. It's just the way I stand, but there's a guy in the background there admiring, thinking, oh, I wish I had one of them instead of running. Yeah, I think they call it like being locked in. My right foot, I feel like every now and again you'll see my toes slightly lift. It's a good feeling knowing that like I'm definitely not going to slip off the board, but at the same time my foot fatigue is really, really strong on the GT. Like with the XR, if I get like the fatigue, I can hop off and my foot kind of recovers after about a minute or so, but with the GT it feels like my leg's about to fall off. So even just like this little path here, a little bit of like off-roady, nothing too extreme. You can see my knees quivering like mad, thinking, oh my god, I'm going to fall off. Doing my best to carve, but it's not going very well. But nice little background in the beach in the background there. I don't know if I said at the start, but it's called Sands. Just down the road there's a place called Marazion, which I just love. There's a really, really long cycle path there. It just goes on forever, and it's just perfect for one wheels. I know there's a couple people down there who don't really like us being on there, but we always tend to be sort of polite and courteous and get out of people's way the best we can. Yeah, I just wanted to share a view of the beach. Apparently Connor said that bunker, which is what you're looking at now, that used to be on the cliff, and it's now fallen in. I don't know how long ago that was, but that's quite a lot of erosion if that's happened. So this is the uphill section I was talking about a minute ago. At the minute it's not too steep, but it does get steeper and steeper. I think annoyingly I moved the camera away from like the nose, you can't see it quite as well, but it just blows my mind. This is the steepest hill I've ever attempted. You'll see Connor behind me with his XR doing it really easily, so I'm sure anyone else could, but again, I'm not the most confident on the one wheels, and I just sort of think I'm going to fall off. It's going to like make me nosedive. Part of it is like now I'm trying to keep my weight kind of back and above the wheel, but lean forward enough that it is taking me up the hill. It's that kind of awkward balance of you need to lean forward to get up the hill, but you don't want to go too much in case you nosedive. But Connor actually comes back down, turns around, and then starts to catch me back up. So whether it's an XR or the GT, they can both definitely do it. But I was just blown away about how, like you see me here, like get my speed up a little bit, getting a bit more confidence up, like yee-hoo, here we go. But one thing I did forget is Connor didn't have his fender on. So you might see my leg is a bit mucky there. It's because I kept picking it up and forgetting there's no fender and just getting all the shite off the tyre all over my leg. So I was like, ah, crap. But lovely little view in the background there. Again, this is still climbing, making like no effort at all. Connor just flies by like he always does. He's just a natural on the board. But it's just unreal. If you don't have a one wheel at all, like the best thing you'll do if you can afford it, is buy one. You'll never regret it. Just make sure you wear your pads and your hammer, otherwise you might smash up your knee like I did. But I know these kind of views you can get if you're walking or cycling, but this is like this. Like I call it the stress buster. I'm sure many people online do as well. It's like when you're just cruising down a road like this and you've got the view of the beach in the background, obviously depending where you live, but it just sort of melts away all your worries. Anything you're thinking about just goes, and you're just sort of in the moment. It's just, it's incredible. Here I sort of towel myself off a little bit because where there's cars coming up, you'll see a little bit of grass, which is like more than enough room for me to get on. But I stay on the road. I put the camera to one side, just say like, sorry mate, like appreciate you slowing down, because again, I'm still getting used to the board. I didn't want to try jumping off and then falling, or the board kind of like rocking or rolling down the hill and hitting this car. I just thought I'd play it safe and squeeze in the best I could, but didn't want to go on the grass in case I fell over and into the bushes. yeah, probably wrapping up the video pretty soon now. Just trying to sort of get up my speed here, just getting more confident and comfortable with the board. I have some drone shots of the surrounding area as well, just a few of the surfers, and just yeah, just why not kind of thing. Everyone likes a good drone shot now and again. Yeah, appreciate you guys watching the video so far. I've seen, I forget his name, but there's a guy from like Future Motion who does these like long kind of GT rides, like an hour long, where he just kind of commentates over them, and I find them really sort of relaxing to watch. I'm sure I don't have that kind of same relaxing aura about me, but I thought I'd do a little tester just because normally when I'm on the one wheel I don't really have much to talk about, but I thought since my board is potentially broken, that's a kind of good topic, and it's just, yeah, over the moon that I managed to fix it, because I think part of the reason I am getting fatter is because of the one wheel. We used to walk like every weekend, maybe even like Saturday and Sunday, just go out like walking all over the place, whereas now if I am going out, it's more than likely I'm on the one wheel. There's a couple people there. I'm just like, cheers guys. That's another thing, it's like, because they are so rare in Cornwall, I try and sort of keep a good name for them. It's if we sort of darting around flying past people and scaring the hell out of them, I'd much rather people go home and be like, oh, you'll never believe what I've seen before, this guy was on a bloody hoverboard, the maniac, instead of these bloody vandals came flying by and pushed me over, and sort of have like a bad name for one wheels in Cornwall. Like, we're trying to sort of represent the county kind of thing in the community the best way we can. Connor there, I didn't notice at the time, but he flicked a load of stones at me. It's a little tricky skull. I think one day one is going to like ping me in the leg. I think, what the hell was that, a bee or something? But yeah, one of his little tricks he's picked up. But anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. Yeah, if you have had an XR and you've upgraded to the GT, or you've just got the GT from a pint or whatever, I'm really keen to hear what you guys think about it. Hopefully this video hasn't been too unbearable or cringy, and yeah, appreciate you watching all this way, and I'll catch you on the next one.
See, I can put annotations over that saying Connor just fell headfirst into a bush.